Now, doubling down on those remarks we've just heard is another player from the extended reality map. He's already coming up here on stage. He's the founder and CEO of Weavr Space, a company that wants to, so to say, revolutionize storytelling. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Miguel Rodriguez.
Thank you very much. Let me go back here. I'm very happy to be here. One thing I want to tell you is I believe that life is about stories. And if you look back, we humans have always kept our memories. It started in the caves. These paintings were memories of their hunts. It moved into the churches, where these stained glass windows were showing stories of the Bible. My parents had Polaroids. My kids have Instagram. It's always about the stories. And with virtual reality, it's just going to change the way we tell our stories. We keep our memories. First of all, if you look at the content that we have right now, it's all two-dimensional. You view your photos in your newspapers or in your tablets. It's all 2D stuff. It's small stuff. Virtual reality brings it into an immersive world. It's kind of like going back to the cave ages. And this makes it a wow experience. Every time we have people come to our lab and they see virtual reality the first time, it's always like, I feel like being there. Now, we believe that virtual reality is really the next technology wave. If you think back on the PC, how many typewriters have you seen lately? They're gone. Or the internet. When is the last time you checked an encyclopedia? And maybe you even remember the first time you saw somebody walking on the train station talking to himself. So I was actually talking on the phone. That was only 10 years ago. We believe that in 10 years, people will be wearing headsets, either at home or walking down the streets. It's probably not going to be the same headsets as we have now. There will be a much advanced version of it. But this will have an impact on how companies and even brands and even ourselves relate to other people. Now, to make this a bit clearer, I want to tell you a bit about some examples that we've been working with. We created a platform where people can create their own virtual reality worlds based on images, objects. And in the beginning, we didn't know who was going to come and use it. And as you might have seen, when a technology comes in, it needs to find its footing. It needs to understand which are the use cases that really matter. And I'm going to go through some examples. We started with, to get content in our platform, we started with a contest which we called the Camera Around the World in 80 days, where we were basically loaning 360 cameras to people. And some people were taking photos of their places, their holidays, but the first people that started using this were the real estate guys, because, and in the words of one of the first customers we had in the UK, he specializes in very expensive manors, this kind of residence in the UK, and most of their customers are either from Arabia, from the Arab lands, or from India. And he needs a way for them to see the properties before they get to travel and choose them. It's kind of like house hunting, but you really get to visit it in your own time, at your own pace, without having to go to that place. So that's actually a use case that we see a lot of potential, and it's actually growing very strong, virtual reality for real estate. The next one is education. We are working on a project. It's actually with a company that is specialized in orthopedics. And the problem they have is when they want to explain to the people what's the effect of a given position or bad position on a skeleton, it's very hard to visualize. If you have a 3D model where you can really see what's the effect of a given illness in a skeleton, this is an easier way to explain to practitioners how to proceed with curation, and also to patients, so they get an understanding of what is actually happening with them. By the way, we have one example that you can come and see later on. The next one is travel. And travel, it's a little bit like Alison was saying about these virtual worlds, but if we can travel, I'd rather be at the beach than have a virtual reality glasses. But we found a very interesting niche, travel where you can't travel. We have a project going with it's an old people's home, or as it's the official word, assisted living. And in these worlds, people have a lot of time. They just cannot travel anymore. But that doesn't mean that they don't want to travel. And the idea is to set up a corner where there is a virtual reality headset, and on a weekly basis, they get to visit other places. This time is Venice, and next week is Rome, and the week after is maybe Thailand. And interestingly enough, the people getting sick has more to do with each person on its own. It doesn't mean that all people get sick more often than not. Kids can also get sick. Even people of our generations can also get sick. But these people really get to travel and to even be there at events from their family. The other application we are seeing, and industry is pushing this a lot, because it really saves a lot of money if you don't have to build something to see how it will look like. But the application that I want to talk about it's a company that does airplane maintenance. Airplane maintenance, it's complicated on its own because you have many different types of airplanes and you have these strong regulations. So with augmented reality, they allow the technicians to view their manuals, and at the same time, they can also photograph and film the work that has been done on the airplane, so that it's basically to fulfill the regulation that they need to prove that they've done the work the right place. And the last is a company showcase. This is a very interesting example. It's actually an institute in Abu Dhabi. They were in a exhibition for schools where people were coming and showing if they want to choose this school or this other school. And they had a virtual reality headset, and what they had were photos from their labs, from their libraries, from their living headquarters. And this allowed people to see, oh, if my son goes there, that's how it will live, or it will look like. So I hope that I've given you some ideas of how virtual reality is being used right now. And again, if you want to see some of this, we are in the lobby. Thank you.
Thank you very much.